Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real fast, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in a future episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a YouTube message. So the first question for today comes in from Vulcan, who asks, "Hey Matimio, after watching the Battlefield 4 multiplayer reveal, I'm curious as to what you think of the commander and squad specialization mechanics. During the live stream, DICE people said that your team's ability on the field directly relates to what a commander does. Also, it looks like the better a squad does, the more squad specializations they get. I fear this is going to cause some major steamrolling. If the enemy team can't get out of spawn or get any points, like what we constantly see in Battlefield 3 during the spawn rapes, how is that team going to be able to compete against a fully loaded squad and a commander with everything?" This is something that I'm a little concerned about. And while I don't think that the squad specializations, or what they're calling them as field upgrades, will be an issue, I actually really like that system because it's going to promote teamwork within your squad. It's going to make it so that you get rewarded for sticking with your squad and doing team-based actions, so I like that. But the commander mode has me a little concerned, and that's mainly just the offensive aspect of it. The fact that you're going to be able to tell squad leaders to go capture certain objectives, being able to kind of put down UAVs and counter UAVs on the map, I think that's fine. But when you start to look at the offensive aspects of it, that's where I kind of get a little nervous, because if one team is able to capture almost everything on the map, that's going to make it very hard for the other team to come back and to start to push against the other team. Because, I mean, if you have a gunship in the air, you have Tomahawk missiles flying all over the place, and the other team's commander only has access to just UAV and counter UAV, they're going to be at a huge disadvantage. And the only way that they're going to be able to push out is if they're somehow able to just overcome these overwhelming odds. DICE has come out and said that the offensive abilities will be dependent on a map, so some maps may have an AC-130 or a Tomahawk missile, while others may not, and I'm sure that they're still trying to balance everything out. Nothing is set in stone. What we saw is the pre-alpha, but they really need to watch their step when they're doing this, because if you give one team a lot of offensive capabilities and a lot of different things just for the commander, not only does that put a lot of power into one person's hands, but also swings the favor really onto their team if they have all of these things at their disposal, and the other team, who's already losing, it has none of those capabilities. So, it's needless to say, I am a little concerned. I trust DICE, and I'm assuming they know what they're doing. They've produced a lot of great games in the past, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. So the next question for today comes in from Jethawk, who asks, "I watched your Battlefield 4 multiplayer breakdown video and I thought about the spotting animation. What do you think it will be like in vehicles, as you're not going to jump out of a tank just to spot a player?" So if you're not familiar with what he's talking about, in the multiplayer, when you try to spot someone, your soldier literally goes through an animation. He like raises his arm, he points in the direction that you're facing, and then everyone in front of you is going to be spotted, much like you would in Battlefield 3. But it's the animation which is the key, because while you're going through it, I'm assuming that you're not going to be able to shoot your weapon, you're not going to be able to do certain tasks, and so you're going to have to think, should I spot my enemy at this point, or should I just try to take him out and risk letting him live without being spotted? But when you're in a vehicle, you can't really go through an animation. I mean, if you're a tank driver or a helicopter pilot, it would be kind of absurd if they required you to jump out, lift up your arm, go through the animation, and then jump back in just to spot your enemy. And so while I haven't played the game yet, my assumption is that there might be some sort of delay, like an infantry unit where you can spot someone, but then there will be like a brief second where you can't fire the main cannon on your tank, or you can't bombard an area when you're in a helicopter, and so it will be just exactly like the infantry spotting mechanic, but there will just be no animation, or it will be just like in Battlefield 3. It's kind of hard to say at this point, and once again, I'm sure that DICE isn't really sure as well, since they're making tweaks here and there. So the next question for today comes in from the Ninja Guy, who asks, "In the Battlefield 4 trailer, a player reverse knife kills someone. It now looks like there is a frontal animation. Also, during the live stream on June 11th, someone reversed a knife attack from behind. What are your thoughts on these things?" So first off, from what I've gathered from the live stream and what I've heard from DICE is that there is now a frontal animation for taking out someone, and I like this. It's gonna make it so that you don't have to go through those stupid like swipes in front of someone. You can kind of have a panic knife now, and I think that will be a good thing. But the counter to it is that there is now a counter knife animation. If you're quick enough, you see the guy around the corner, he's about to knife your face off, you press E, it looked like that if you were on PC, then you're going to grab his arm and then stab his knife into his chest. And so that's pretty cool. But then you also say that you witnessed someone counter knife someone who was getting stabbed from behind. And I want to go out and say that that was a bug because this is a pre-alpha. Simply because straight from the DICE developers' mouths, they were explaining that the only way that you can counterknife someone is if they are attacking you from the front. Anything behind, it is a guarantee, or they're saying it's a guaranteed kill. And for me personally, that seems fair. I mean, that's kind of, that seems like a balanced way to handle things because, in all honesty, if someone is able to get behind you and they can go through that animation, they deserve to take your dog tags. Like, they could have shot you at any moment, they could have done a numerous number of things to try to take you out, but since they took the time to sneak up behind you and get and try to go through the animation, I think it would be a little unfair if the other player was able to counter that. So I think what you witnessed was just a bug. This is the pre-alpha version of the game. They are still tweaking a lot of things, and there's going to be a lot of bugs just from the live stream. So I wouldn't count on being able to counter knife someone when they are knifing you from behind. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed, but I also quickly wanted to thank Level Cap for providing today's gameplay. He was able to attend E3. He captured a lot of amazing footage, so I just wanted to thank him for being awesome. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.